Hey, it's MK, and I am here with another 31 days of cut files layout for you guys today. Today I am using this amazing post sign that was created by Lori Whitlock for Paige Evans, and I have a few pieces of just mismatched things. So these are wood planks that I was playing around with and created myself. This is a packaging full of just random bits, 49 in Market, stamped shimmer leaves. I think I saw some Tim Holtz embossing folder that was done, just random stuff, some cut files from the shop, all that stuff. I also have a booklet here that was from the Lakeside collection, and I'm thinking about using these words or maybe some of these words. So not really sure. I have 3 photos that I would like to put on my page, but I pulled out this Creative Memories frame, and it only has spots for 2 photos. So I'm going to try to figure out how to make that work in my layout as well. I have this amazing wood grain background that is by Renke, Renke, Alexandra Renke, made in Germany. And it is just a single-sided, but it's this beautiful wood grain that I wanted to use as my background. I want to map my photos on this photo play paper that is from the Brave collection, and it's called Boots. So the other side is, it's kind of cool, but the other side is this collage paper of a couple things. And then I have this sticker sheet by Simple Stories, and it is from the Weathered Garden collection. So that is what I'm going to try to put on this layout. It's a lot, especially when I don't have a whole lot of room to trim my photos down. So at first I thought I was going to mess with my photos, mess with that frame. Then I thought, no, I'll go and I'll mount my photos and I will be right back. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is mix and match a couple of the techniques that I have been talking about throughout the month. And so one of them is to use alcohol markers to color the outside of your cut file. And one of the reasons why I like doing this is because it leaves that mottled look, that watercolor look of the highs and the lows, without a lot of effort. Like I just colored this, and it looks great, and it's going to be a great outline for my little wood strips that I have here. So these little wood strips that I have, which I thought I had 3, but apparently I only have 2 in the little package, are an embossing folder by Tim Holtz, and he has these 3D embossing folders, and I used these on a different project. I can't remember which one. But I embossed it. I think this was brown to begin with. I can't really remember what color. It could have been just white. I have no idea. But I embossed it. I colored it, and then ran it through with a darker color, with a flat, what's it called? Blender tool. So the flat blender tool picks up just the high parts and doesn't pick the low parts. If you use a rounded blender tool like a blender brush or those new pads that they have for the tools handles, if you use one of those, then they get down into the low parts and you're missing the whole technique of covering up those embossing folders. So anyways, just thought I would throw that out there. So I'm going to selectively place my pieces behind, so that way I can spread them out. Because my other pieces that I have, they are homemade wood grain pieces. I was just playing around and thought I would try to see if I could make my own planks, and logs, I should say. So they aren't as dark as the Tim Holtz one was. Because, judging by the back of it, which is very judgy, it looks white. So I might have had just a plain white cardstock, but I'm not really sure, you guys, how I got it that dark when my other planks are pretty pale in comparison. So for my planks, I wanted them to be 3D, so I popped them up. So I'm going to have to rip them off of their base in order to get them to work with my backing of the cut file. Yes, that's real English there. For the post, I made sure that my wood grain was going up and down, and then my post signs are going left and right. And I do love that fact that I had enough of the Tim Holtz embossed pieces to do every other one. I am so glad that it actually worked and I paid attention to be able to do every other one, because sometimes I would have, put two of them side by side, not even realize that that's something that I did. So anyways, working on the last little post sign going on here. Now, another technique that I'm going to be bringing into this cut file is adding to a cut file, making it look like an embellishment all on its own. Now, granted, the cut file itself is a pretty cool cut file. I mean, just look at that. It is so cool. But I want to add more. So I want all my little signs to say something different. I have all these different little sayings on these faux washi stickers, is what they look like to me. It looks like Simple Stories was going for a whole bunch of strips of paper and then they slapped a word over it. I have a hard time using those, especially when they're super thin stickers. So I am just going to cut out the word part and use those as labels for, each direction. We're going to do an adventure over here. We're going to take the trails over here. We're going to, do something else over there, or my favorite place is in that direction. I just really wanted to do something different. And for my smaller posts, or I should say signs, I needed smaller words. And so the other labels were absolutely perfect for that. So now here is where I decided to add some dimension to this cut file. So what I'm going to do is loosely wrap this vine that I have. Now it is actually a braided vine. It's 2 burlap, oh my gosh, what are those called? Like burlap ribbons braided with a leaf ribbon. And so I thought it was a really, really cool ribbon to have, but I found out, the hard way that it's very hard to use. And I don't know why. I think it's because, in all honesty, every time I see it, I think of those little monkeys hanging from the vines at the zoo. And I needed a monkey picture to use that on is where my brain was going. So I really wanted to use this up, and I'm glad that I got most of it used up by just wrapping it around my post and then watching my post come to life, basically. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these cut files. Now these are other cut files that are actually in the Some Assemblage Required shop. And this is only a portion of the cut file. So it comes with a whole bunch of leaves and things like that. So this is what I had left from what I've already used. Bless me. I'm so sorry. And so I thought that they would look really cool, having little white bellflowers hanging around my post and whatnot. So I went ahead and I fast forwarded through that process. I was just tucking and weaving my shimmered leaves and then making sure that every bellflower had a shimmered leaf going on. And now I'm going to cut up that frame because technically all it is a decorative frame, right? So I'm going to cut it up and use bits and pieces of it throughout my layout to help me fill in the gaps. And then I am going to just use the twigs and what are they called? Pine needles. I'm going to take this pine cone and try to color it in. I colored it on the dark side because I wanted that leaf to match the leaves that I attached down in the lower bottom section, and I didn't like that. So I'm going to color the lighter side now and just have 2 different colors of leaves. But I really wanted those dark leaves. So that way I had those dark leaves in 2 different spots on my layout. So that was what I was going for, but it did not end up happening. The pine cone's not going to stay there either. And then I've got pretty much a cool background for my photos. My photos don't have a whole lot of color in them except for my children, but I wanted my children to be the main focus. So that's why I didn't go for colors that they were wearing. Well, I mean, one of them's wearing black and white, one of them's wearing white and blue. My daughter is wearing purple and blue, and then my son is black, yellow, and orange. Yes, that's it. It comes off as red, the sweater does, but it's orange, I promise. But really, I wanted a muted background, a muted layout, and then that way my children pop off the page. That was my goal for this specific page, but I wanted to have fun with the cut file as well. I really do love adding elements to a cut file and making it pop instead of, you know, just backing it and slapping it on a layout, maybe putting dimensionals on it and calling it good. I just really wanted to do something like that. So anyways, I went and added some stickers from the Simple Stories Weathered Garden sticker sheet. And that is going to be, my title is Be Happy in the Moment. Just because there's a lot of other words on the postage sign that I really did not want to pick and choose my favorite, because that's like taking my children and picking and choosing my favorite child. So I wasn't going to do that. But I did end up putting the pine cone behind that sticker to kind of make it look like a pretty cool cluster. I really like that. And then I realized, well, how am I going to glue all this down? Like, it was perfect the way it was, but now I don't know what to do. And I struggle a little bit here because that sticker was really, really sticky. And it would not come off my fingers, and it wouldn't stay straight. It was just all over the place. But I got it eventually. I have no clue where that one came from. I think it came from my pack, but I'm going to try to attach it to the back of my file, so that way I have, not my file, but my cluster. I'm going to take that shimmered leaf and back it, or put it behind my cluster, so that way I get a little bit of, you know, difference between the pine cone leaf and the pine needles behind, because they were the same color. So I'm glad that that actually fell down. Whoop, it was a great, happy accident. All right, so I'm going to figure out, I accidentally moved and shifted everything a little bit too high. But that's okay. I figure it out. I get it all to go back. I love the fact that my daughter's photo at the top of the stairs and this picture of a different set of stairs that we took almost line up to where it looks like she's at the top of a really, really long stair. So I really like how that happy accident happened, because I did not plan that at all. But in the end, I do like how that looks. I'm going to go ahead and pull all those dimensionals because of that thick ribbon that I have going on. I'm going to pull all those off to attach my post, add a few more butterflies. That way I have 3 little butterflies going on. And that is the end of my layout, you guys. I was looking to see if maybe I needed to add something else, but I really like how I've got 2 large clusters flanking either side of this looks like never-ending staircase with my daughter at the top of it. And honestly, I wasn't expecting it to turn out like this. I really wasn't. It was just me playing, and I really like how my one photo off on the side looks like it's part of that cluster of foliage. And it was just slapped on top of a whole bunch of foliage. I like that look. Anyways, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really, truly appreciate it. Give your cut files a lift by adding things from your stash to it to help it tell your story. Also, too, don't forget to check out the 2 links down below for 31 days of cut files. And don't forget to check out Janet Fritz's channel, who is Galaxy Girl Creations here on YouTube. Her link is also down below, but she's the @sign. It should be highlighted in the comments. So anyways, thank you so much, and I will check y'all later. Bye.